this is Martha. I am a relationship counselor and clinical sexologist. It's Sunday here in Singapore, and Mother's Day is next week. I am at the lobby of Fullerton Hotel having white tea. I was just catching up with a friend just now for lunch, and rather than going home, I decided to read my books and do some journaling. There's something about drinking tea and watching the world go by, doing people watching, that to me is very nurturing and very Thai, very feminine. And so I try to do this when I can. So I'm at the lobby of Fullerton Hotel, so just so you can have a look, this is where I'm at. So it was really busy here just now. I think I have been here for easily, let me see, 3 hours easily, and it was pretty noisy here just now. So I finished reading 2 books, and I thought I'll just show you the books, okay, since you're watching. I finished reading this book. It may be inverted for you. Aching for Love. And it's really about the sex lives of people who've gone through trauma in their lives, namely coming from alcoholic, drug addiction families where there's sexual abuse and incest. And then this is another one that I just ordered in the mail, which just came in this week, and it's called Not on My Watch. It's really about consent. So now while sitting here, I saw, this place is just crawling with adults and having high tea. It's all very polished and high class. So just sitting here, and I saw a little girl running by, and of course there are not many kids around, so I was noticing the little girl, and she went off to her dad, and I saw her sister, who was actually wearing an identical outfit, flower print, and it reminded me of me and my sister and how my mom would always make us wear identical clothes. It used to be very exasperating because there would be people who would ask us if we were twins, and they would talk about us as if we don't know they are talking about us, and they would talk about how old we are, what we are doing, what we're studying, what we like to do, and usually they talk about like what a handful we are. And it's I guess a very typical thing that parents do. Instead of talking about all the amazing things about their children, they talk about the negative side about their children. And sometimes it's almost as if they are talking about the kids and salivating like looking at us as if they are envious of us. And it wasn't until I started to hang out with my best friend several years ago, and she has 2 children, and I just adore her daughter. Her daughter is really cute, smart, funny. We get along really well, and I do miss her a lot. So it wasn't until I fell in love with this little girl that I realized that I was looking exactly the way my mom used to look, like salivating, looking at kids and salivating. And I think it's just really what I didn't recognize. It was love. It was love in their eyes, and I didn't know what it was because it was a new thing. Remember, I was a kid, and everything about the world was new, and how adults think and look is also new. So growing up, seeing those looks that they used to have, I call it the salivating look. It was just uncomfortable. But having grown up and then now doing it to little kids, looking at them and trying to see the world through their eyes with wonder and awe and curiosity. I have that look now. So I think about all the love that my parents, especially my mom, used to have, and I didn't know it, that it was love. So this year, more than other years, suddenly I become much more aware of all the Mother's Day promotions and celebrations, because I can no longer do that with my mom. And celebrations around going on spa days with your mom, or going on I don't know, like a buffet, and different things like in celebration of all mothers or whatever, you know, like do donations to charities and stuff. And it was sad because just this morning I was talking with a friend of mine. We had a Zoom, and we were just updating each other about what has been happening in our lives for the last few years, because we were communicating with each other always via Skype, and later Zoom, and also Zoom. And we just, you know, dropped off contact for a while. Not that anything happened, it's just we got busy, and I was just updating him about all the things that happened, and I just went on and on and on, and finally he said, yeah, and you haven't even told me about your mom. And then that's when I said, well, you know, my mom passed away in October. And I was telling him how last year I would consider it a little bit of like a watershed, like a whitewash, I don't know what you call it, where besides working on my 4th book and arranging for it to be published. So my 4th book is an Asian vulva photo book of 20 different models, and the book is out, but I'm not really promoting it right now because we are still waiting for approval from the government, it being a nude book. Anyway, so last year really my big achievement was working on and getting this book published. But other than that, last year, besides seeing clients and presenting at Wonderfruit, I turned down opportunities to present overseas, and I didn't do much travel last year because my mom was getting progressively worse, and I didn't want to not be around if she needed me. Also, the energy around the house was just depressive. It was depressive, it was heavy, it was sad. You know, she was suffering, she was in pain, difficulty, discomfort. She coughs every night, late into the night, and it does affect me a lot because there was nothing I could do. So last year was not easy, and the thing about someone being not well is, you know, there are a lot of things that they cannot do, they cannot eat, they cannot go, and so you just feel very, very helpless. So even though I would stay at home a lot last year, I really didn't do much, and I couldn't do much, and she wouldn't allow me to go to the hospital with her because, you know, hospital Chinese would think is very unhygienic and unhealthy, and so I really couldn't do that much for her. And she passed away after my birthday, and as far as I can recall, that is also the first birthday in my life last year that she didn't give me a red packet. It doesn't matter that she didn't give me a red packet, it was more that she was so unwell, she was in the hospital, that she forgot my birthday. And it did not matter. It did not matter that she forgot my birthday or the red packet, because I just wanted my mom back. I just wanted her to be okay. And so I'm gonna remember it as the birthday that she forgot to give me a red packet, because that's how unwell she was. And yeah, for those of you who still have your parents, do what you can to appreciate them. Even if you don't have much money, even though you are busy, even though you haven't had a good relationship with them, because you really don't want to regret that there were things that were not done, things that were not said. I'm very fortunate because towards the end, I did have time with my mom. I did say the things that I wanted to say. I did give her a lot of love. I opened up a lot to her and told her more things about myself. I feel that I did everything that I needed to have closure in our relationship. And because she suffered for so long with her breast cancer, so long, so I've been in practice for 10 years, and when I was studying for my doctorate in human sexuality, she had a relapse. So she actually hid it from me, and she didn't let anybody tell me about it. But of course I knew something was wrong, and I wasn't based in San Francisco. I was commuting back and forth, Singapore and San Francisco. So this was easily 11-12 years ago, when she was first diagnosed with a relapse. So it's not the first time, it's the second time she has breast cancer come back. So I'm glad that I have had all this time with her. I really have a lot of gratitude, and all things being said, towards my relationship with her. And of course I was so ready for her to leave, because she has been in pain and suffering for so long. But I really didn't expect, and I've said this a few times in my previous videos, I really didn't expect to have that energetic cord between me and mom being severed like that when she passed away. And that was why I couldn't stop crying. That was the wounding, and it's at a very deep level. So mentally I was prepared. Mentally I knew I shouldn't cry. There's no reason to cry. She's at a better place, she's not suffering anymore, and that I'm still connected to her. But energetically there was this loss that I could feel in my body, being a spiritual person, because I have been connected to my mom since the day I was conceived in her womb, and then even outside of her I was connected to her. But when she passed away, the energetic cord was severed, and I couldn't stop crying. And even now I do miss her, and I just want to encourage all of you who still have your parents to really appreciate them this Mother's Day. I think we have certain concepts of what love is and what love should be, how love should be spoken and how love should be expressed, how love should be felt, and I think through my relationship with my parents, I think this was the biggest demonstration of what love really is. Love is also long-suffering. Love is never giving up. Love is patience. Love is choosing not to say certain things and letting your child make their own mistakes. Love is wanting to help your children and saying the things that you know they don't want you to hear anyway, because you can't help yourself. Love is doing things that are unnecessary and unwanted. And when I witness love in my clients, and they say things like, I don't feel the attraction anymore, it must not be love, I would invite them to look at the relationship they have with their parents. because our parents often don't feel like cooking, cleaning, picking up after us. They don't feel like it, but they do it anyway, because love is also a decision, it's also a choice, it is a commitment, and love is much, much more than the way you're feeling. So I think for a lot of us, unless we came from families that have given us unconditional love, and I have experienced unconditional love in many forms in my life from my parents, it helped me to really understand more and more what love is, especially as I grew up, especially when I started to coach clients in their relationships. I also started to reflect on my relationships with my parents, and how I want love to show up in my life. And it demystified and corrected a lot of my romanticized ideas of what love is. So I really like to invite you to also take this opportunity, for those of you who are in romantic relationships, to think about what love in a romantic relationship means to you. I think when I was younger, I used to be influenced by Hollywood and all those movies about relationships. Now they call them rom-com, comedy love, comedy romance movies. I used to have certain ideas of what love is. You know, as long as you love someone, everything will turn out well. There's always happily ever after. And it's not true. Love, for a lot of the part, is us working through our childhood wounds that need healing, and the shadow side of who we are once you've met and bonded with your partner. Sometimes the ugly side of you comes up, the fear of being abandoned, the need to be wanted, the need to be liked, the need to win, the need to have control, so as to feel safe. Like, all this toxic behavior comes up because they needed to be addressed, and they were maybe dormant and not addressed. So it's really important that we don't just see romantic relationships as with labels like it's good or bad, or should not, and just see this as very much a mirror reflection of what else needs work. The parts of us that haven't been healed in our adult relationship with our parents, because they are the first people that we fell in love with, to also start to see our romantic relationships as an extension of love at work, love being expressed and exercised. And so I invite you to look at your relationship with your parents, especially your mom, this Mother's Day, and how the relationships with parents is playing out, or has influenced you in your romantic relationships right now. What do you think love is? Putting into account what I just said about what shape and form love can also be. Love being patient, thankless, love being a commitment and a choice. So thanks for watching this video, and I love to hear from you. You can post your comments below. So as a relationship counselor and sexologist, I think a lot of people expect and assume and are very interested in me talking about sex all the time, and I do have a few hundred videos on YouTube talking about all kinds of questions, topics relating to sexuality. But I'm also drawn to talking about other topics as well. So I hope you like this video, and you can share your thoughts and comments. If you're too shy, you can private message me. I'm not looking for advice. Also, if there are certain topics that you would like me to cover for this page and also for YouTube, feel free to email me or message me. So you can find me at my website, that's eroscoaching.com, and you can email me through my website or private message me on Facebook. I I don't really respond to hi. So try not to say hi. Introduce yourself, state your intention. I think that's the best way to get a reply from me. So this is Martha of Eros Coaching. Thanks so much for watching this video, and have a happy weekend.